Hi, today is Wednesday, April 30th, and welcome to my living room. It's April 2025, and we know that things are crazy right now. You hear the news, there's been a lot of layoffs, the economy is in a weird state right now, and a lot of people are hurting. So if you're one of those homeowners who's fallen behind on payments, you're probably freaking out and don't know what's next. Well, once you get behind on those payments, the bank is going to send your file to a foreclosure attorney. And the foreclosure attorney is going to file what's called a lis pendens. That means that there is a formal lawsuit against you. With that lis pendens, there's going to be a formal complaint. And in that complaint, it's going to list your original mortgage, the terms that you agreed to, and that basically you're no longer making those payments, and the bank has a valid reason to foreclose on you. When you receive that summons, you need to respond. Unfortunately, the majority of homeowners put their head down, put their head in the sand, and just ignore what is going on, and they don't respond. And that's one of the worst things that you can do, because when you don't respond, the foreclosure proceeding accelerates. We are in a judicial state, which means that the bank cannot just foreclose on you like other states like Texas, which are non-judicial, and I believe Georgia, and they can foreclose within 30 or 60 days. I'm not an expert in that area. I'm in the state of Florida, so I know how the judicial process works. Luckily, in the state of Florida, you have time to rectify the situation. But if you ignore and don't respond, the situation is only going to get worse. Now, like I mentioned, I'm helping homeowners avoid foreclosure auction. So the majority of my clients, unfortunately, ignored the bank, and the bank accelerated the foreclosure process. And now the bank has won the final judgment. What is the final judgment? So you bought your house in 2018, you took out a mortgage for $308,000. You've made payments, but the balance owed, the full payoff is now $380,000, let's say. So the bank goes to court, they win the final judgment, and now they say that the final judgment awarded to the bank is $380,000, and the bank is given a sale date that your property is now going to go to auction. In my experience, when a final judgment is given, and I have watched these hearings happen live, the judge will give 60 to 90 days from the date of the final judgment for the home to be sold at public auction. Now, when you get that notice that your home is going to be sold at public auction, I can imagine that a ton of panic sets in. At this point, I find that a lot of homeowners think that they have no other options. They've lost the battle, time to move, time to give up. They've done everything they can do. That is not the case. It does not matter if you have equity, meaning you owe less than the home is worth, so you'll walk away with money at closing, or if you're in a situation where you have multiple liens, be it second mortgage, HOA, solar, you name it, and you owe more than the home is worth. So you think that there's nothing that can be done. In both of these situations, if you have equity or if you owe more than the home is worth, i.e. a short sale, you still have options and we can still get that auction stopped. But you need to move quickly. Again, I understand that there's a ton of stress, tons of anxiety, and you don't know what to do. But this is the time that you need to pick up the phone and call a person like myself, who that's all I do, is I help homeowners avoid foreclosure auction. I'm gonna step in, I'm gonna take over the situation, and I'm gonna help you get that auction stopped and get us time to figure out what we're gonna do. Are you gonna sell the home, or are you gonna try to keep it? Yes, I'm a realtor. I make money by selling your home. That is correct. But I do not want to force you out of your home. My goal is to help you. So if you really want to save your home and you have the means to do it, I can show you how. You have to get caught back up on your payments. Now, there's a couple of ways to do that. Pay the amount that's owed, or contact your bank and see if you can apply for a loan modification. A loan modification is basically refinancing that loan with the bank again. Now you have to meet the income guidelines. There are certain parameters. It's just like going through the original mortgage approval. Not the same, but they're going to be looking at your financials and make sure that if they modify the loan, that you're going to be able to keep up with those payments. Now, hopefully that works. But let's say the bank says, no, you can't get this modification, or we simply don't want to offer you the modification. Are you out of luck now? Is there nothing you can do? No, you still have options. The second option is going to be to file for Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Not necessarily Chapter 13, you can file for Chapter 7. I am not a bankruptcy attorney. I am not an attorney, so this is not legal advice. I do have trusted attorneys that I have partnered with and worked with in the past that I can connect you with that can explain bankruptcy. But the gist of it is Chapter 13 bankruptcy is designed to help you get caught back up on your payments. So let's take an example. You are behind on your mortgage, $50,000. You file Chapter 13 bankruptcy, and that automatically puts a stay on the foreclosure auction. It puts a stay on the creditors calling you. It gives you a brief peace, basically. So then you file your Chapter 13 bankruptcy, the auction is paused, and then you have to pay in monthly to the United States bankruptcy trustee your mortgage and whatever debts that are listed in your Chapter 13 bankruptcy plan. So if you've got car notes and other credit cards, sometimes they lump it all together, and then you make one payment to the bankruptcy trustee, and then your payments are dispersed to all of your creditors. You do that monthly with the goal of getting caught back up on your payments. The payments are split over a 5-year period. You make your current monthly mortgage, so let's say that's $1,200. Then let's say the amount that's split over 5 years is $1,000, just to make easy math. Now you're paying $2,200 a month into the bankruptcy court. That is the goal, to get you caught back up on payments. And within 5 years, you're supposed to be caught back up on payments, and then the bankruptcy is discharged and you're good to go. So hopefully you're able to do that. But a lot of times what I see happen is that if you're not able to keep up with the original mortgage payments, and now you file Chapter 13 bankruptcy and you've got this huge monthly payment, 9 times out of 10, homeowners are not able to keep up with that payment either. And then the bankruptcy is dismissed, and then the bank resets the foreclosure auction again. So those are the ways that you can save your home. Now, let's say you filed that Chapter 13 bankruptcy, you paid into the bankruptcy court for 6 months, and then you call me and say, Holly, I just can't keep up with this payment anymore. I need to do something. Then I'm going to get your home listed and I'm going to get it sold. So you always have options, even until the very last minute. I will always show you the options that you have, and then it's up to you to decide what works best for you. And I'll always be here if you pick one option and it doesn't work out and you need my help to go to option B or C. That's my goal, is to help South Floridians avoid foreclosure auction and to help homeowners avoid foreclosure and see the light at the tunnel in a very stressful and difficult situation. So if you're one of those families that's facing foreclosure auction, or you're falling behind our payments, or you just have questions, call me anytime. Hit me up on my website, 954-873-8855. You can call or text me anytime. And this is Holly Iannucci, your South Floridian distressed real estate agent. Have a great day. See you next Wednesday.